Hello, everyone, and welcome again to our ongoing interview series for Everyone In. And it is an event which is taking place on October 31st, which is the main day. It's the big day where we're going to have some live streaming. We're going to have some interviews. We're going to have a number of our vendors who will be available for live chat and be streaming all of these interviews and videos throughout the day. So make sure you check in 9 o'clock on Saturday, October 31st. For more information, you can go to everyonein.org. So today we have an amazing array of young ladies from the Milwaukee Ballet's Tour de Force. And I'm going to have Allison, who's with the Milwaukee Ballet, and she's been one of our amazing organizers for this event that we've been putting together. So Allison, introduce yourself and everyone.
Thanks, Tori. Hi, everyone. I'm Allison Chavez, and I'm the Director of Community Engagement at Milwaukee Ballet. And I'm joined today by some amazing people who are part of our Tour de Force program. So we're joined by Shayna Sigmund, who is our head physical therapist from Children's Hospital. Cindy and Maddie, who are a mom and participant dancer in our Tour de Force program. And two of our company dancers, Alana Griffith and Daniela Marawi, who are part of our program that we're going to be talking about today. So I think between all of us, we'll be able to cover all the different aspects of this program and the amazing collaborative effort that it takes to do it.
Sounds great. So now Tour de Force, what is it? Why is it? How did it start?
Well, what it is a program that brings together kids, dancers, and physical and occupational therapists and doctors, mostly from Children's Wisconsin. What it is a program that allows these kids to take a ballet class as close to the classes that we provide at Milwaukee Ballet School and Academy as possible. We are lucky to be doing that currently virtually, but in a regular time of life, we're lucky to be doing it at our new building, the Baumgartner Center for Dance, which is fully accessible. And it's a program that came together with an idea to create a ballet class primarily, but also a way for these awesome kids to be able to continue some of the physical therapy that they need to be doing in a setting that isn't a hospital or a PT room or a clinic. And the reason that it came together is that dancers also have to do an incredible amount of stretching and physical therapy on a regular basis. They have to do these same kinds of things day in and day out. And sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's not so fun for their bodies. And the doctor who created this idea and helped us to make it happen saw a lot of similarities between dancers and what her patients were going through. And I think that's the beautiful intention behind it.
That's really interesting, and it makes so much sense, the connectiveness. And I think that's one of the things as society, the more we open ourselves up to the what ifs, what's possible, and then look at how things can be interconnected and what we can do to bring life closer together is amazing. And PTs, I love PTs. I've gone through a number of them. They're amazing people. And to be able to do this work, when I saw the video, and we'll be showing it on Saturday, it was so powerful because I come from a background of chronic pain and disabilities and having lost and come back from. So this is awesome. So who do we want to talk with next, then, Allison?
Shayna, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your experience has been working in the program and how you have helped us to infuse that part of, meshing the physical therapy with the study of ballet.
Yeah. So I actually started about a little over 3 years ago. I kind of helped out with the program. And then I just loved it and wanted to do everything I could to help. But it's really great because we get to see a lot of these kids in therapy, or we did in the past, and we don't anymore. And maybe they don't need our services at that moment, but we want to keep them active and keep them involved in some kind of activity to keep their muscles strong, keep them flexible. And so it was just a really great opportunity for therapists at Children's. And then we also have some student volunteers as well who help out, kind of be able to work with the ballet dancers, and they have their expertise of the ballet, and then we kind of can help them understand maybe everyone's different kind of muscles and everything. So different people have lower muscle tone and higher muscle tone, and kind of help, they can help as well, kind of help these kids and dancers, because they are dancers, be successful in their class, and be able to do the moves, and how can we help support them. And our big goal is just to give them the tools that they need so that they can be as successful in this class as possible and take a ballet class and just like everyone else. So.
Well, I want to jump over to Cindy and Maddie. Thank you so very much for joining us. And Mom, I'm just going to call you Mom there, Cindy. What has this program meant to you, and what have you seen with your daughter through this program?
Well, for us, this program has meant a lot. It really brought Madison out of her shell. She seemed to be a very quiet, shy little girl. And after the first class, she was in love with her teacher, Itzel, and every day it was the question, is it ballet time? Do we do ballet today? And unfortunately, it's not every day, but it's really meant a great deal. Madison has really come out of her shell. We've gained a family within the Milwaukee Ballet. It's been incredible for our family. And as far as Madison and therapy, she's getting so much more and has been able to move a lot better and not be so stiff. And it's really meant a lot to us.
So I like certainly the coming out of all of us, coming out of our shell and finding ways to express ourselves. And that's certainly what arts brings to us, whether it is ballet or it is on the theater stage. Pink Umbrella Theater Company is one who's going to be joining us, or if it's just painting or whatever, just to make a difference. But I also like what you mentioned, that Maddie's always asking, when is it? And that's important, isn't it? Because it gives something to look forward to and such an enhancement in the quality of her life and your life and your family's life.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We get to class and time is over and she's disappointed. Why isn't it longer? So it's been incredible. And having Itzel for a dance instructor has been incredible for all the girls. I see that she doesn't let them give up. She's always pushing them to do more and to do more and to do more, and to become the best that they can be. So it's been great. There's no more that I could say other than it's been great. And we're really, really, really happy and grateful for the opportunity.
That's really cool.
Maddie's part of the class called Glissade, which is our newest class. And this class, like every part of Tour de Force, has been a great example of we haven't put limits on really the age of the kids or what is. So we've had them come into the program, and then once we saw there's a need to split off and make another class for a certain group of kids, we've done that. And Glissade is a class that's mostly middle school and high school age girls. It's been such a cool little group of kids that, as Cindy's mentioning, they are just so close to their teacher Itzel, and they just want to get together and gab and gossip and have fun, and it's just so heartwarming. But Itzel pushes them hard. We've seen a couple examples that I think are in some of the videos that I sent you, where she's not messing around. She's teaching them choreography. She's holding them to a high standard, just like she's held to as a dancer, and teaches them so much about not just the steps that they're doing, but also what it means to be a ballerina. And they're coming there with their hair done and their ballet outfits, and it's a really cool little vibe that they've created in that class. Each class has its own personality and is different, and maybe Daniela and Alana can talk about the different classes that they've worked with and how the feelings are different, because I think you guys have worked in a couple different levels too.
Ladies, take it away.
So I've been with the program for, I think, 5 years now. So I've been with it since almost the beginning. And it's just been amazing to see how much this program has grown. We just had 2 classes at the beginning, and now how many classes are there? Like 5, 6?
Yeah, I think it's 6
I think.
levels. Yeah.
So I've been lucky enough that I've taught and I've been paired up with the little dancers individually. So I've done Le Petite and Les Élevés as well. And those are 2 very different classes. One is a little more dependent, so we're a lot more hands-on working with the PTs. And the other class, we try to treat it as much of like a regular ballet class, like they're standing up, they're moving across the floor. And it's just amazing to see how much these dancers can progress throughout the years, and the bonds that we've formed with some of the kids is just, day one, they don't think that they can come into a studio and do what they do. And then by the end, we have them doing an entire dance to show their parents. And it's just amazing to see how proud of themselves they are and how proud of them, like their parents are, and everyone. It's just such an amazing support group. And just to see them grow like that is amazing, especially, going into the studio every day as a dancer. It's hard to see those little improvements, but working with these dancers, I take it into like class when I'm training, and I'm like, every day, just a little improvement is such a big deal. And so they inspire me every day.
That's the same. Like sometimes I feel like dancing so long, you kind of forget, you get stuck in your ways and always working hard, but then I come to this program and you really see the pure joy of dancing, and it kind of reminds you why you're doing this in the first place. And like Alana, I was with the Le Petit and Les Élevés, and it was just like, this was my first year last year doing the program, and I did not expect to form the bond that I did with my students. And it was just like, we're Facebook friends now, we keep in touch, and it's just like I can bring what I learned from them into the studio with me, and it's been very special.
So Alana and Daniela,
Sorry. I was going to see if Maddie wanted to say anything about
please.
working with Excel, since we were talking about that and I didn't even ask you.
Do you have something to say about Itzel? Look into the camera.
Last year,
Yes.
we were in the upfield in one of the ballet rooms, and I remember it was my birthday,
Yes.
and like I told her after you could come
Yes.
to my birthday party if you wanted,
And
and
she
like
did.
after everyone followed her,
Yeah.
right?
And she came, so that
And-
made you feel special, right?
We were waiting and waiting to see if she came. All of a sudden, I saw her walk into the door.
Yeah, and that
And
made you feel special.
Me and I think Nominee and like Ella.
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
Or Hazel.
All of them. They
Yeah.
rushed to the door.
Especially me. Like, run to the door.
Yeah.
And I think I got there first.
Yeah. But it made you feel special that she went to your birthday,
Yeah,
didn't it?
I'm
Yeah.
spicy.
Okay.
Itzel is like a celebrity.
Well, Maddie, how does the dance feel to you specifically? Because your mom said that you are always looking forward to it, and then you're sad when it's over. But what does it mean to you knowing that you have this available?
I like it.
You like it a lot. How does it make you feel?
Happy.
Happy.
That's a good thing. You have a beautiful smile.
Thank you. Okay.
She gets this certain smile. This is her dad, Eric. She gets this smile on her face that she only gets from ballet. It's free, natural. She's just like everybody else. You know, all her able-bodied friends at school, it puts them on the same playing level. And she just gets this incredible smile when she's doing her ballet. If we could get that out of her every day, man, I'd be a happy dad. It's only with ballet.
Well, you know, you have this pure joy smile that has been created that she's going to be having the rest of her life. That is such an amazing gift.
Yes, for sure.
So,
for sure.
Shayna, I want to get back to you on a question, because it kind of came up about, you know, the kids are, you know, not always sure what they're able to do, and then they find out what they're able to do. So as the physical therapist bringing kids in, how do you run into, I'm sure you do, kids that might get frustrated, or they're not sure they're able to, and what do you do to help them through that?
So actually before anyone joins the program, we do like a mini kind of get to know you interview. Allison and I and another therapist, Diane, will meet with the child and the family, kind of talk with them and figure out where they're at that moment. Like even just like, are they a little shy? Do they do better? You know, we kind of try to pair them in a class, and we've split some of our classes even levels up so they're smaller, so that we can try to make them as successful as possible in that first session, even if that means the next time they change to a different level. But then we pair each dancer with at least one helper, either ballet dancer or therapist or volunteer. Some have more than that. And we try to keep that consistent so that they can also help them. And then there's a few of us who will also like talk with all the ballet dancers and kind of help them get to know their individual child and kind of see where we can help them. So if they can, some of the dancers or volunteers will tell us like, this was really hard this week, what can I do to help? And we'll come up with some ideas to try next week, so that, you know, like if standing on one leg was hard, maybe if you help them like with holding their hands or help them like shift their weight over, then they can be more successful the next time. So we try to do it each kid, which there's a lot of kids in our program, but we work really hard to like make sure that that. And then another thing we've learned is if they're switching helpers, that we try to pass that information on. So that might be on a piece of paper so that they know, oh, this went really well this week, try this with them, so that we can continue to make them improve and have fun and try to limit that frustration as much as we can in those classes.
Because a lot of it is just plain the discovery of it, because it is different, and it's just trying something new. And you know, and we're here talking about dance, but I have this great story. Jordan Wilkins, who is the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks Junior, so it's the wheelchair basketball team, and it's a cool story which fits in here. They were at a practice, and there was a young man on the side with his wheelchair, and Jordan said he could really tell this young man was really frustrated and didn't want to be there. And so Jordan went over and talked to him a little bit and went back, practiced, and went back over, talked to him a little bit, went back, practiced, came back over, handed him a basketball and turned around and left. And then a little while later, he looks over and the kid's dribbling the ball. And he ended up being one of the best players they've ever had. So we never know until we expose this, these opportunities. And what we're trying to do with everyone in is to provide an array of opportunities, because somebody may hear about this with the dance and say, oh yeah, that's it. That's really great. Somebody else may hear this and say, well, yeah, somebody does this with tap dancing or something, you know, but somebody might want to be into theater, or they might want to just take up painting or sculpting. And so as much of a diversity of programs that we can offer is great. And I've got one question, because I'm here with these amazing ladies. Is this program also, and I know the answer, but I'm going to ask the question, is the program also open to boys and young men?
Absolutely. We need more boys. Part of my job as director of community engagement is just to sort of break the barriers and stereotypes that exist about ballet, and there's a lot of them. And one thing is that, especially with all the work we do with school age kids, is that they do think ballet is just for girls, which really is not true. We could not do ballet without the men in our company. Currently right now on part of our virtual programming that we're doing because of COVID is showing a lot of our archival videos from our past seasons. And the one we're showing in October, of course, is Dracula, which is the signature ballet from our artistic director, Michael Pink. And, you could not do that ballet without the strong men in the company. Absolutely. We need princes, we need Captain Hook, we need Dracula, we need, all of the characters that make up life, make up ballet as well. So in our program, one of our longest participating students is Todd, and he's in our Le Petit class, and he's been doing the program for all 7 years that we've been doing it. But we have a lot of other, not a lot. We have other boys in the program. Everett is one of our little faves. He's in the Le Sujet class and is such a great little dancer. We are always recruiting more kids, but the same thing that happens in our ballet school where boys and sometimes dads are like, no, not ballet. Those same feelings exist. So we're always trying to show people that actually dancers are as much athletes as they are artists. And the same kinds of things that go into being a professional athlete are a part of ballet. And so when we take our programs out to schools, for example, we're always highlighting what the men in our company do. We have them do push-ups on stage. We always are showing how they have to lift the women and the strength and physical training that it takes to be a dancer is right up there with being a professional football player, or basketball player, or whatever. It's just, also people don't know that when ballet started, only men were allowed to do it. So girls couldn't even do it for about 75 years. So wow. That's something that we are always telling people. And it just is, it's part of our challenge as a ballet company is to show people that ballet is more than just this sort of old, antiquated, boring art form that people tend to think, which is sad because it's so much more than that. It's funny, it's exciting, it's so hard, it's physical, it's got a lot more layers to it than people think. It's a great question, Jory.
Okay, I'm like tongue-tied. Okay, that won't last too long. Trust me on that. So with COVID, and how has that impacted the work that you're able to do with these kiddos from Children's?
Shayna, do you want to talk about a little bit of our sort of conversation and planning?
Yeah, so right now we are not doing any in-person classes. We decided to kind of hold off just with everything going on. There's numbers sometimes increasing, and we just felt like if we're going to have this class in person, we want to make sure it's safe and that we are very prepared. So like in our clinic, we have lots of different precautions we're taking with masks and all of that stuff. So we are working to kind of come up with a plan for future sessions that would be as safe as we can with masking and social distancing and all that and kind of screening. But we will just have to kind of play it by ear and see when it's the safest for us to bring it back in person, because we're very excited to do that and can't wait. But want it to be safe. So right now we're doing everything kind of virtual just to keep all of our families healthy and everyone safe. So
Yeah, one of the biggest challenges in making this decision is, Milwaukee Ballet School and Academy did open in the summer for a month-long summer intensive, and then opened in the fall with our classes, but the classes are much smaller than normal. We are lucky to have such a huge building that's perfect for this current situation because the ceilings are high, the ventilation's great. But even with that, we can only have 15 people in a studio at a time. And we can't have that one-on-one contact with students. It's very normal in ballet to have a teacher fixing your head or placing their arms on your shoulders or your waist and making sure the placement of your body is correct, or trying to stretch your leg up higher, or whatever physical movement or physical touch they're implementing in the classroom is so important. And with Tour de Force, it's even more so, because some of our kids will have 1 to 3 helpers at a time, literally helping them move their arms, move their legs, help them balance, make sure they don't fall if we're walking across the floor, hold on to them, with their waist so that they can hold on to the ballet bar. There's so much touch in this program that was one issue that we were worried about. Surprisingly, a lot of the families were like, let's get back in person right now. And it was very hard to have to say, we can't do that right now. So what we're doing is we do have 8 classes where kids can do this class from home with the help of their parent if they need it. That class is similar to what we call our Les Sujets class, which is kind of like creative movement. So they're learning basic ballet moves and learning about rhythm and learning some musicality and stuff like that. So they're able to do that from home if possible. We are going to be sending them some videos of ballet class, just because a lot of the kids love to watch everybody loves to watch the dancers, but we implemented live music into the program about a year ago, and the kids were really responding to that. So we're just going to be sending a couple examples of ballet class that they can just watch and hear our amazing accompanists playing music. We'll be sending them our virtual things like our behind the scenes of Cinderella, which we would have opened our season with, and a Nutcracker video that will take them through the story of the Nutcracker in a little bit more personal way. So trying to keep people engaged that way. And then, like I said earlier, with the glissade class, a lot of the parents were like, we just don't have the space in our house to be doing a full ballet class in our wheelchair, unfortunately. And they were like, but the kids still want to see Itzel. So they're just doing social meetups once a month on Zoom because that's really what they want, is to see her. So we're trying to do something. It's nowhere near the experience of the in-person magic that we have every time we have a class. And also, one of the biggest challenges we've had, even when we're in a regular time, is that we typically can only do like 5 or 6 classes a session. And we'd love to be able to do this weekly, like every ballet class, but it's so labor intensive with the dancers, the physical therapists, the teachers who are coming together, that it's been hard for us to figure out how to do more than that per session, because sometimes the dancers are performing or they're on layoff, or, so many of our, our physical therapists and volunteers, they are just doing this on a volunteer basis. And it's a very, there's like 40 people involved just on the staffing part of it. And then with the families, it's grown to this huge program. So every session we learn a little more about what works and what doesn't work, and we make adaptations and changes. And I've never worked in a program like this where you know, the parents will tell us like, hey, this is not working. And then we're like, oh my gosh, yeah, we got to change it. Or, hey, this would be a great idea if you did this. And then we add it. And it's been awesome.
So another question just hit me, and I've come to understand this through Pink Umbrella and other similar programs around the country. Do you know of similar ballet type programs around the country doing what you're doing with Tour de Force?
I don't know if dancers, if you know more about this than I do. I know there are programs. There's a lot of schools that are starting to offer ballet class, especially for kids with Down syndrome. There's programs that I've seen, lots of programs online of wheelchair dancing programs. And there's actually also professional companies, which I just recently learned about going to a national conference where I saw a company called Dancing Wheels that has been around for a long time that offers classes and an adaptive ballet program similar to ours. But they also have a professional company where they have dancers who are some are in wheelchairs, some aren't, and they're doing the most incredible work I've seen, I think. I mean, the partnering that they do together is just phenomenal. And Jory, I can send you some of those links so you can see it.
You read my
There's
mind.
also, like Full Radius Dance Company that does, has a company that's sort of integrated with dancers of all abilities. And I mean, some of this work is so creative. I've seen things where like dancers in wheelchairs are like flipping around and doing partnering. And I mean, it blows my mind. It's really cool what's happening.
When I was a little bit younger, there's this really famous studio in New York called Steps. And I would go in the summer and take classes because there's really famous teachers there. And there was a woman, a professional ballet dancer in a wheelchair, and she did the entire class with me and all of us. And I just thought that was so cool. And so then when we started this program here and we started the Gleesod group, I was so excited because I know how far it can go. They can, you know, and I think a lot of them don't believe that they can do it. And then they go in and Itzel is right there with them, showing them that they can. And so, yeah.
It's interesting because part of the original planning for what is now Everyone In was to celebrate this year being the 30th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And back in December, January, when we first started planning this, and I'll let the secret out, we were going to be on the Summerfest grounds, and we were looking to be on the Summerfest grounds 2021. But I said, you know, it's the whole year that we can celebrate this ADA. But the other side of the coin is that with everything it's done, there still is this loss of the individuals who living with disabilities, but they have so much to give, but they're not being brought into society. And so Daniela, you're talking about that professional dancer in a wheelchair. And then I'm just kind of like, oh man, I wish I could have watched. That would have been great to watch, to see that. And we need to start to change that so that's not such a surprise as like the shock of, oh, they're able to do that, but more of the, as we see from you ladies as dancers, that, oh my gosh, it's beautiful what they're doing. And everything else is taken away. And we're down to seeing that person, down to seeing that spirit, that energy, that life, that vitality, which we need in and around us, because I get so much more energy when we all do, when we open up to everyone, take all the barriers away.
Totally. Yeah, with our Gleesod class, I got some advice from Damian Buckman, who runs the Ability Center. And, you know, he's the one that lent us our wheelchair that we used to teach the class. And then I ended up buying one through him. But he said, you know, put everyone in the same playing field, have the teacher be in the chair. And that's a learning experience for the dancers who've done it, you know, where they're like, the girls are teaching the teacher, you know, it's Itzel for now, but it was Janelle before that. And some of our other dancers have done that. And they're like, how do I turn? Like, you know, they're learning from each other. Yes. And it's a really cool experience. You know, Maddie got to be in an awesome video that we did this summer where we went down to the Bradford Beach and used the new ramp that is there to allow people, you know, these are things that I'm learning as I go along, like, oh yeah, how do you get to the beach? How do you even do that? You know, using that ramp and being able to go right up to the edge of the water. We filmed a really cool video that's in something that I submitted for Ability Fest so people can see that. But that exactly what you're saying, you know, it was until 2 years ago that I saw this professional company dancing on stage. We just aren't seeing that enough. And that's really important. Because of Tour de Force, we added a character in a wheelchair to our touring school show that we do, where the theme was all about inclusivity. And, you know, in my thinking after I did that show this past year, you know, I could go a step further and actually hire a dancer who is in a wheelchair and not just have one of our dancers playing the part, you know. So there's always, it's like I learned something and then I'm like, oh, I haven't learned quite enough. I need to go a little farther with that, that process in my own mind. But the Tour de Force has made me realize that it's okay to ask questions. And I think a lot of what holds us back as society and bringing people together is that we, you know, I have learned, like, it's okay to say to the moms, like, what's it like? What's going on? What is working that we're doing? What isn't? And they will tell me, you know, like, hey, you know, we've had some crazy experiences together where in the past, until we moved into this new building, we had to do the program at our school branches because they were accessible and our main headquarters on 5th and National weren't. But on one of the first days of the program, the elevator was broken. And it's like, you know, this awful moment of like, we can't do what we're here to do because, you know, not everybody can just be carried up the stairs, and that isn't fair to ask people. And, you know, we've had some moments like that together where it's just like, oh, you know, like there's so many challenges before you even get to class, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be like, hey, ballet class, let's go. It's easy. Let's do it. You know?
Yeah, that's interesting because even with the planning of this event, and, you know, I think it was within the last 3 weeks or so, we realized that we're not going to have the in-person portion of this because we kept trying to have the in-person and the virtual, but I really pushed to bring in the virtual aspect of this months ago. And what started to hit me was that not everyone has, you just kind of alluded to it, not everyone has the ability to get to places. And I know that there are a lot of shortfalls with public transportation for people with disabilities. And my own personal experience, I know, hey, I can be having a great day and all of a sudden a pain flare up and I'm not going anywhere. I shouldn't go anywhere. I still do anyway, but it's because I don't know any better. But the virtual aspect of this event has been awesome. And it's why no matter what, I know this is going to be successful because now at least we're bringing this into the homes. People can see it at their leisure. And we can reach anywhere now, which is also cool. So, but yeah, it's a learning, constant learning, because I've also learned about universal design, which is actually where the Americans with Disabilities Act requirements should be. So it's all of these different things. And then when we as a society, we kind of like let everything else go, you know, take away all of these compartments that we put people in and look at the person and say, hi, how are you? What's going on in your life? So, all right, well, this has been, I knew this was going to be awesome, and it has been. So why don't we just go through? I'd like to just get some closing comments. And Cindy, I would really love to start off with you.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'm so looking forward to the day that we get to all be back together in studio. There's just something very special about that. It's just the environment you're in, and to be around other families that are going through the same thing you are and having the same experiences is something that not everybody understands. Not able-bodied families, sure, they have busy schedules, everybody running to soccer or everybody running, to other activities. And this is something special for us, for our families. So just to be able to know and have that same experience and that camaraderie is absolutely incredible. And like my husband said, seeing Madison have a smile on her face, that doesn't go away. That doesn't go away maybe for a couple of days, and then we're back at it again. So that's pretty awesome. And we keep in touch with each other. We share things, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and that's special.
Very cool. Daniela and Elena, any closing thoughts that you have?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like through this program, my eyes have been like wide open. I'm kind of ashamed to say I wasn't as aware about like people with disabilities, but in reality, they are like individuals that are so talented, so giving, and honestly, just seeing their pure joy makes me want to do this every week. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of a program that offers dance like this. So thank you.
Yeah, I just can't wait to get back after all this is over, and that everyone can do ballet, and that, yeah, it's just amazing to see how far this program has come, and I can't wait to see some of the dancers that I've been working with since the beginning, and yeah, and we need more boys.
Shayna, you have any closing thoughts?
I guess the big thing is I also just want to give a big shout out and a thank you to all of our families involved in this program, because without them bringing their kids to the class and giving us all of the feedback that we need, we wouldn't be able to continue to adapt the program and it wouldn't be what it is today. So I really appreciate them and everything that they bring to the program, and I'm really excited to see all their faces and their smiling faces in class soon. So looking forward to that.
Very cool. Allison?
Yeah, I just, this whole conversation is making me just reminding me always why I love this program, and, getting some tears up to here a little bit every time I hear about, especially from Cindy and Maddie, like what it means to them. I mean, I kind of organize all the details of the program. And then on Sundays when we do the program at the studio, I just get to walk around and watch and take pictures and see the progress and hear the conversations in the hallway of the parents. And I get to kind of watch it unfold. And it's just, we originally started this program thinking like, oh, we're going to be able to increase the dancers' flexibility and head strength. And those things happen and they're incredibly important. I mean, there's a girl, Denya, who's been in the program almost the whole time, and she couldn't hold her head up at the beginning and now she can. And, my understanding of what dancers and kids who aren't verbal, my understanding has grown so much because I know they know who their dancer is. When that music starts, they know. When they see their dancer come up close to them, they know who it is. That level of understanding for me has changed my life, but it's this social thing that we're talking about, the connection. That's what we all want, is connection to each other through the arts, through through life. And when I see the parents, you know, making plans to go out and hang out, or, you know, I mentioned this in one of the videos, but it's so meaningful. There's parents that come to the ballet now, you know, on date night without their kids, because they're like, hey, now we love the ballet, and they never even knew about it before. You know, this spring, earlier in the pandemic, we did a drive-by birthday party for one of our girls, and, you know, I'll probably cry right now, but it was just so amazing. It was like we were meeting up in the parking lot and making sure we had signs on our car and balloons and masks, and, you know, one of the moms made masks for us, and it was just, you know, like driving by and seeing her. We hadn't seen her for a while, and it was just like, that's what this is about. You know, it's about ballet, but it's also about, like, we have a group now that, you know, like Cindy said, they can talk to other parents and be like, how is, you know, they're talking about appointments, they're talking about other activities, they're talking about how to get through all the struggles they go through on their own, dealing with things that, you know, if their child is going to a school where they're the only one in a wheelchair, they don't have that same peer group, but in Tour de Force they do. And that's been just amazing to me. And working with Shayna and the physical therapist, you know, like she said, sorry, I talk for 20 minutes every time you ask me a question. Like she said earlier, with those appointments that we do to meet the kids first, that's an adaptation that came out of the program. We would just place the kids before in the class, and then, you know, Shayna's like, we need to be meeting them before and learning about who they are to really make sure they're in the right level. You know, it's been such an open exchange of information that that's why it's gone on so long and gotten better and better.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you, all of you, for joining in. Thank you, Maddie's dad.
Yes, Eric's a great ballet dad.
All right.
He's in that video. He's dancing in that video.
Awesome. Yeah. So this is great. We have a number of videos from Milwaukee Ballet from Tour de Force, which we'll be showing in this interview. And so that everyone knows too, that these will be replayed throughout November, because the event site, it stays live throughout November. So they'll still be out there. So again, thank you all. And please share everyone in with everyone you know. We just want to keep getting the word out, and tickets are, you know, available free, and vendors can get in and have a virtual vendor booth free. And we're going to make this, no matter what 2020 gave us, we're going to make this first event great. And in 2021, we're going to really blow this thing out of the ballpark. So yeah, just leave you with one closing comment, which is interesting. When we originally met with Summerfest board about having this event, and you know, they're kind of like, we're going to do this or not, and you know, it's something that's really new, but they're very impressed. They're very, very supportive, and they want us back. But I took the boardroom, and I just said, listen, this is the 30th anniversary of the ADA, the whole year. And to me, there are only two choices. One, we either smash this thing out of the ballpark, or we just stop now and go home. That's the way I look at life. And so this thing is going to take place this year. We're going to make it what we can make it this year. And from here going forward, everything that we're creating is going to become a new entity to fill this gap and to continue providing information about programs that are available, which enhances the lives of people living with disabilities, but enhances community. So thank you all for joining, and we'll be getting to talk to you again soon, and can't wait to be able to get down and see a ballet.
Definitely.
All right.